Hello and welcome to BBC London News with me, Riz Latif. First tonight, 2/3 of London buses are off the road today after drivers went on strike over pay. Hundreds of thousands of commuters are having their journeys disrupted, with more than 600 separate routes affected. Union members want 18 different companies which run the capital's bus services to give all drivers similar pay. Transport for London say that could cost up to £100 million a year. More on that in just a moment. First, here's Catherine Carpenter on how people have dealt with today's disruption.
At the end of the Victoria line with nowhere to go, commuters trying to make their way home from Brixton often depend on buses. This evening they were left waiting.
It took me 2.5 hours to get to work, and it's taken me 3/4 of an hour to get to here.
It really did mess me up because I had a lecture at 9. And even though I did try to wake up on time, I had to walk from West Norwood all the way to Brixton Station.
They've only just increased bus fares and now they go on strike. It's appalling. We're not happy at all.
The buses that did run were packed. It was a similar story this morning, with queues and frustration across the capital. Transport for London says around 1/3 of services have been running today, but it didn't always feel that way.
I was going to give up and go home, but I didn't. So I'll just see how long it takes me to get back home.
Others were less patient, and as they battled their way onto the buses that did show up, there was varying support for the striking drivers.
Very, very bad, very, very bad. People have to go to hospital, have to go to, no what?
Yeah, they're right to strike. They are right to strike because Boris tries to raise up the bus here and him not raise them pay. So them need the money.
I need a more pay, but not like this.
I'll give it a few more minutes and then I'm going to walk. Well, it's very inconvenient. Yeah, I mean, when you live here, Crouch End, you've got no other choice but to get a bus. So we've got no other way of getting into work.
There should be a right for people to demonstrate, to get or strike against pay, but I think people need to be realistic.
But with talks, let alone an agreement looking some way off, tonight sees another long journey home for many, with the prospect of more strikes to come.
And Catherine's in Streatham Hill this evening for us. Catherine, any indication of how the strike is hitting tonight's rush hour?
Well, Riz, this is how things are looking. Many more buses than usual parked up along the side of the road. Now, you can see here that there are still some drivers on the picket. This is usually a very busy bus garage at this time of night because this part of London doesn't have a tube, so a lot of people rely heavily on the buses. There are still some coming and going, but far fewer than normal. Now, TfL say that around 80 to 90% of people did make their usual journeys into work today, but we know that some 630 out of around 670 routes were affected. We're also understanding that this is going to go on till around midnight tonight. That's when this strike is due to end. Until then, there's going to be plenty of disruption for people, and we know that we saw this morning a lot of tube stations suffering long queues, particularly at Victoria and Brixton. Now, if you want to get more information on all this, you can do so every 15 minutes at BBC London 94.9.